Hey guys, in today's video, I'm sharing my debt story with you. One of my subscribers was looking for our debt story, and I don't have that video on my channel, so I did think it would be a good idea to kind of show you more about my background with money, finances, and credit. And so that way you can kind of see how we ended up in a six-figure debt. So if you're interested in seeing this video, go ahead and stay tuned. But before I begin, I just really want to thank all of my new subscribers. Never in a million years would I have imagined that so many people would be willing to support me and encourage me and just stick by my side through one of the hardest times or one of the hardest journeys in my life. So I just really thank you and I appreciate you, and I hope that you stick with me until the end. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Ozella, and my channel focuses on all things related to being more intentional with money. As you know, I'm on a debt-free journey, so I plan on sharing my entire debt-free journey with you guys. But I also create budgeting videos showing you guys how I set up my budget each and every month. So if you're interested in seeing content like that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button while you're down there. But back to today's video, my debt story. If you watched any of my videos before, you would know that I am married, and me and my husband both came into our relationship with having debt. But quite honestly, my debt story starts way before I even met my husband. I graduated high school early and I went straight to college. I went to a private HBCU, which is a historically Black college or university, and due to it being a private university, they could charge whatever they want, I feel like. And I didn't know back then, but the tuition was like sky high. So I took out student loans. I also had my mom take out a Parent Plus loan. And that's pretty much where my credit story starts. And so graduating early and going straight to college, there's so many things that's wrong with that scenario. For one, I didn't even have a clue what I wanted to do in life. I just went to college because I kind of just really wanted to get away. And then two, we were lured in by so many different credit card companies, and not having a real good background with money and finances, like those people really got over on me. So of course, going to college and not having a job or not having money, like the credit card offers and deals that they were offering us sounded so good. And so I signed up for a Bank of America credit card. Now that card was only $500. It had a $500 limit and the payments were only $25. But I just started college and I don't have a job. So how am I going to pay this back? I don't even know if back then I really understood that that money had to be paid back, but I just saw it as free money. So I couldn't afford the $25 payment and I ended up not paying the bill. So the bill ended up going to collections. And at a later point, later down the line, I ended up settling on that card for less than the amount that was owed. And it stayed on my credit for the 7 years and then it came off. The next thing was student loans. Now, I didn't receive any grants or any scholarships or anything like that. So all of my tuition for that first year and a half that I was at this private university, it was all funded by student loans. To be honest, like I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't worried about it affecting my future at all because I just knew I didn't have to pay on it while I was in school. So my thing was, well, I'm going to be in school for the next 4 years, so I'll worry about it then when that time comes. So I'm in school. I got student loans. I got a credit card. I have no job, but I need books. I need food, and I just need my basic toiletries. So what do? I do what everybody else around me is doing. I take out the max amount of student loans that I can take out each semester so that I can get a refund. Worst mistake ever. If you are going to college, do not do that. Only take out what you need, because in the long run, you're going to end up paying so much more money. And another thing that I learned from going to school and racking up all of those student loans, books. You don't have to buy your books from the school bookstore. You can go on Amazon and find used books for cheap. You can also rent books. There's so many people that's renting books. You can get on Facebook Marketplace nowadays. Like, there's options for you. So a part of my debt, or a part of me and my husband's debt, is also his student loans. He tried 2 colleges. He did an online college, and then he also did a local community college where he went and sat in a classroom. My husband is more of a hands-on person. He likes to just get his hands dirty. He likes to learn the job, do a trade, and keep him moving. So he, took a while to figure out that he wasn't a college person. And because of that, we have those student loans. And I know I spent like a long time, or I spend a good amount of time talking about student loans, but it's because the student loans make up a good portion of my debt, both my husband and mine's debt. And we actually put our loans on forbearance like multiple times. And when you do that, and you're not paying the money on the interest, your balance is going to keep raising. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that I experienced the things that I experienced, because it taught me so many lessons. But I am paying more for those loans than I initially took out, because I chose to not pay interest on them. That's another thing. Pay interest on your loans. If you can, if you're working in college, just pay the interest. So at the end of your college journey, all you have to worry about is that principal balance. But because of the fact that me and my husband, we didn't make any interest only payments while we were in school, and then we sat there and, put them on forbearance, which is, we did that for continuously. I promise you, I probably only made about 10 student loan payments, and I started school in 2007. And honestly, I've only been paying my student loans back since November of 2019. That's when I came off of my last forbearance, and I said enough is enough. I'm just gonna make the minimum payments and, call it a day. When it comes to credit cards, it took me a long time to really understand that credit cards, was not just free money. I knew that it had to be paid back in college once they start sending me a bill, but for some reason, it really didn't click in my mind, because once they stopped sending me the bill, which is when they basically sent it to collections, I wasn't worried about it anymore. And I just got credit cards back to back. I've got all types of credit cards, or I had all types of credit cards. Discover, Citi, Bank of America, Capital One, Walmart, Old Navy, the list goes on. I've had several credit cards. And by the way, I have cut up all of my credit cards. I'm not about that life no more. I really literally had to cut up my credit cards, because even to this day, I don't have any self-discipline. So at this point in my life, I just knew that I had to cut up my credit cards if I wanted to get anywhere with my debt, as far as paying them off and paying them down. We've put all sorts of things on our credit cards, like furniture, clothes, shoes, flights, vacations, travel, everything. And my motto used to be, we work too hard not to have the things that we want. My husband didn't make it any easier or any better, because he used to be like, well, we're going to always be in debt, so it really don't matter. We can, live our life right now, because we always going to be paying debt back. And sometimes I feel like he still feels that way, but I'm trying really hard to break that mindset and break that mentality that he has, because I don't want to be in debt forever. Based on watching these YouTube videos of other people getting out of debt, it really fuels me each and every month to keep going, because I see millennials, I see people like me doing it and killing it. So I feel like, if they can do it, then I can do it too. And so I'm trying to show my husband that we don't have to always be in debt. We can, we spend almost $2,000 a month in debt payments. We can be doing so much other things with that money if it was really ours. But because we chose to live reckless and to, basically have that mindset, now we have $2,000 going out of our pockets into somebody else's pocket. But yeah, I used to see the credit cards as being our cushion and our little rainy day fund. I didn't even know what an emergency fund was. Another portion of our debt came from auto loans, car loans. And I don't know why or what shifted in my mind as far as getting a car loan, because my first 2 cars I paid for in cash. Like my very first car I paid for in cash, my own money. I saved up my money and I was able to purchase an all cash car. And I kept that car for a little bit, but I'm like a shiny object type of person. Like I always got shiny object syndrome. And my car back then, which was in either 2007, 2008, it was a 94. And I just wanted a newer model car. But I went and got a 98 Dodge Stratus. And that car lasted me a good 3 months before the engine blew because there was a leak, an oil leak or something like that. I don't know, but the engine ended up dying. So I ended up wasting, not only did I waste the money that I spent on my first car, but I wasted the money that I spent on my second car too. And once I was, out of those cars, I ended up getting a car loan. Now that was my first experience with a car loan. When I met my husband had never had a car loan before. He always drove like $500, $700 cars. But me, I'm like, look, you working, you got to make sure you have reliable transportation. Like once his little $500 car gave out, I'm like, we don't really have the money to buy a new car in cash right now. And you need a car, so we need to go get you a car loan. And when we went and got that car for him, we got the cheapest car on the car lot, like literally. I don't even think we shopped around. We went to one dealership, big mistake. And then we got the cheapest car on the lot, another big mistake. But we were trying to save money. We didn't want a high car payment. And that car lasted us. It lasted for a few years, but we ended up getting rid of that car as well because it needed some work and the work outweighed the amount of the car. So we ended up getting rid of that car and got another car loan. So my husband ended up getting into a car accident in 2018 and he ended up totaling that vehicle. And when he totaled that vehicle, again, you see the pattern here, we got another car loan. But this wasn't just any car loan because my husband always wanted a truck. So I saw that accident as a way for him to get what he wanted. He was in an accident with our daughter and he was really down about it. And so I'm like, it's always a positive in every negative situation. And so I kind of nudged him like, this is your time to go ahead and get your truck. Get the thing that you really want. That truck came with a $600 car payment. It was $593 a month. And mind you, he was paying that on his own, but that was a lot of money. And it wasn't until I watched a video on YouTube. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I love watching YouTube videos about people sharing their journeys because it really inspires me. And I watched a video and I believe the channel is called Frugal Freaks or The Frugal Freak. I'm not sure, but she was talking about how, her husband had this truck payment and they really wanted to get rid of it, but they were underwater on it, which means they owed more on the truck than it was worth. And so she kind of went through her experience and that kind of motivated me to make changes in my own life. And so I went to my husband that same day and I was like, what do you think about, getting rid of our car loans and getting cash cars? And it took a little bit of convincing, but 2 weeks later we were at CarMax, we were at Enterprise, trading them cars in or turning them cars in. And of course we owed more on the loans than the cars were worth. So we went to our local credit union, which is where the cars were financed through, and we were actually able to roll the difference of the amount that Enterprise gave us for the cars and the amount that we actually owed. So we rolled that difference into a personal loan. We had already had personal loans. I had my own personal loan with that credit union and my husband also had a personal loan. So what they did was they combined all three loans. So as you watch my debt payoff videos, you'll see I have this big loan that's $19,000. And basically that's two personal loans combined as well as the difference in the amounts of the vehicles that we traded in. Or not traded in, that we sold because we didn't trade it in. We ended up getting cash cars. And my personal loan came from this credit card stuff. So I told you I had a lot of credit cards, and at one point I wanted to get out of debt. So what I did was I took all of those balances and I took them to the bank and got a personal loan so that the bank can pay off all of those credit cards. But my biggest mistake was I didn't stop using the credit cards. What I should have did was cut those credit cards up so I wouldn't have access to them, because the interest rate on credit cards is sky high. The interest rate on that personal loan was very low. I did have, good credit, so my interest rate wasn't too high. So I was actually paying more towards the principal each month on that personal loan than I was when I was paying to the credit card companies themselves. But like I said, I didn't cut the credit cards up and I didn't stop using them. So that was really pointless of me to go get that personal loan. So whenever people ask, I always caution them, you have to know in your heart that you're ready and that you're not going to use your credit cards anymore before you decide to go get a personal loan to pay off all of those credit cards. Because really what you're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Because it's all debt, it's all credit. My husband had a personal loan as well for a lawyer due to legal issues that we couldn't afford. We couldn't afford the retainer out of pocket with cash. And so we went and got a personal loan to be able to front us for that. So the patterns in our debt story that I've learned is our biggest hangups are, besides the student loans, but our biggest hangups have been the credit card usage and then not being prepared for the different expenses that we will incur in life. And so one of my biggest things that we started last year was designating a certain amount of money to go to a savings account, an online savings account that, we don't have such easy access to. And we've been able to watch our bank account or our savings account grow just by simply having money directly deposited every time we get paid into this online savings account. If you have a hard time saving, that's what I would recommend. Use an online savings account. It doesn't matter how much money you start with. If you only have $20 to put towards savings each month, then you could start with $20. I mean, by the end of the year, what's that? $240 that you wasn't even, thinking about. It just came out of your account. You wasn't worried about it. And I hope my math was right. If it wasn't, forgive me. My whole purpose is put something towards savings. As you see, when I do my budget videos, I put savings first because it took me a long time to understand that you really have to pay yourself first. We work too hard not to have what we need in times of an emergency. So you really need to pay yourself first. If you pay everybody else first, at the end of the day, you're going to be like, I ain't got no money left to put towards savings. But paying yourself first, you're making that a priority. So everything else, you're going to find ways to cut money or to cut expenses in your budget to make sure that you can afford everything. But if you get your savings out the way first, you're going to prevent yourself from going deeper into debt. I'm trying to think if me and my husband have any other types of debt. I've talked to you about the student loans that we have. I've talked to you about the credit cards, which we no longer have. I've also talked to you about personal loans, the car loans, and then collections. I talked to you about his collections. I don't have anything in collections, and he no longer has anything in collections. We did get all of that stuff squared away, but pretty much the whole reason why we kind of got serious in starting our debt-free journey is for the simple fact that me and my husband both work good jobs and we make good money. But I don't remember if it was last year in 2019 or the end of 2018, but we had so many bills that were past due. I got a disconnect notice on the electric bill. I had only been paying the bare minimum on the electric bill and the water bill. And I'm just like, why are we living like this? We both make good money. What's going on? Where's our money going? Cause something ain't right. Something ain't hitting. Once we really, started to look at our finances and stuff, we just really, saw that we were spending recklessly. We were just spending on stuff that even that didn't even matter, like materialistic stuff, and something really just had to change. And I really credit the Frugal Freak that video, because I feel like that video alone, like for me to be able to convince my husband to get rid of something that he's always wanted for the better of our future and our family's future, like that was just a stepping stone for us, and kind of like, you know, the first step for us to really get on this debt-free journey and do what we need to do. So luckily last year, which I also did a video about, but last year we were able to release $40,000 worth of debt, and a big portion of that debt was our car loans. But at the end of the day, we don't have those payments no more, and we're on the right track, we're on the right path, and I just really look forward to sharing that with you guys. And like I said, I hope you will stick it out with me until the end. Let me know in the comments below where you are on your debt-free journey, or if you're just here to support. I'm so happy for it, for real, because this is a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, like I said, we have a 6-figure debt. We're in it for the long run. And go ahead and hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, guys, bye.